Hi guys, and welcome to my first year flower farm. I'm Sophie from Transylvania, and it, I started growing flowers last year and trying out how is the market. This year I was able to have like 65 peony roots planted because I inherited a little bit of money from my mom who passed, and I was also able to get some help from you guys on my 4Found page, and I could order professional seeds from Holland, and I have detailed videos about those what I was planning to grow, and the majority of those became reality, and I was able this season to cut for 20 weeks from this field. There are not so many um, flower beds, but I'd like to show them to you. I wasn't able to till it. Nobody wanted to till my field in a spring. It's completely new. I built it on a grass, and I use different techniques, and I will talk about those too. So it's time to have a recap of the year and what was growing throughout the season and what worked best for me, and also gonna show you what I'm already planning for next year. I have some of the cool flowers in place already, so let's get to it. And excuse me for the quality of the video. This is what I have on my phone right now, and yeah, I wasn't able to make a good quality pictures and all those this year. The beginning of the year it was pretty rough, and emotionally I was in a bad place because of how things went with my ex-partner. So I am a single mom, and I'm happy to show you what I could achieve alone on my own uh, on this uh, on this project. This is the first section, and as you can see, I have around 1 meter 20 centimeters wide beds, and from here until longer the chicken coop is, there are like 20 meters, and I decided to have a path in between. So I have like 6 rows long, 20-meter long rows, and practically 12 beds where to plant to. And this first bed, you cannot see much, is are my cool flowers. I have Sweet Williams, bunny tail grass, and what else? Digitalis, and yeah, some more campanula will come into this place. So my technique here is I have the chicken coop which is movable, and I started with the chickens on this grass to feed on the grass and kind of free the soil from the weeds, but it's not 100% possible, and I'm just turning the grass, and I'm planting into it. Of course, I'm sure I will have tremendous weed pressure here. I already see some of them popping up, but I really hope I can mulch it in a spring. So this is the first flower bed, and this was direct seeded, and what I have here is the Eryngium leavenworthii, which is really beautiful. It started to color up now, and I have that interplanted with the discus, and the discus was direct sown. Yeah, the fields don't look so fresh anymore. They look kind of tired, but believe me, I cut like every week, like almost everything, really. So, and this yellow one is Lonas inodora. I'm a little bit frustrated with it because I thought it's gonna be much bigger heads. Maybe because I didn't thin the plants when they were growing and they were kind of crammed in. Yeah, some places I still have straw flower popping up, and this was the patch of Agrostemma. It's already gone to seed, but I wasn't able to use Agrostemma in my bouquets. They were really small flowers, like so small, like this, like 1 inches across. And following, you can see I still have some cosmos left, which I actually started to rip out. And so this is where the cosmos were earlier this year, and I already started Achillea, all these berry pink colors. And then moving in this direction, this is a section that was not finished, and in this area I used this black tarp to or textile to suppress the weeds, and I had here really lovely celosia, the Salve mix, with this, some of them with this lovely salmon color. So I cut, this was really good, I cut almost everything. You can see I left some, and I was hoping that I can get seeds from them, but yeah, some seeds are there, so I might be able to save some seeds from this. So this was the celosia bed. And then coming from here, oh yeah, between the rows I left grass, but I had nothing to mow with my grass, so weeds came up. But I always leave the Achillea because I use them a lot in my bouquets. So I hope next year I can manage the in-between rows a little bit better, but I really like to have grass walkways. So, and in this bed I still have left some of the Craspedia, and yeah, I cut the majority of it. And Craspedia is okay to grow for me from seed, but they kind of slow growing for me, and the majority of the plants which produced earlier and were stronger, they came from a mother plant that I had in the house over winter, and I took cuttings from them and they rooted very quickly, so I was able to directly put the cuttings into the ground. So this year I'm gonna actually lift some of them and try to overwinter again, because they are perennial, but they are not hardy in my zone. I'm zone 5, and yeah, start all of them like earlier this way. And the rest of the bed that's already past its prime was this Limonium Quiz apricot, and some of them are more pink, and they really produced a lot. And but what I was surprised about them is the stem is so delicate, and they flopped over, and they were just not that sturdy and strong like the blue colors and the white colors. Yeah, a lot of going on in this bed. And the other thing I was trying this year is Tweedia, and as you can see, they flowered, but they are really short, and I think the plants were stunted, and they didn't achieve the length before flowering as they supposed to. And also what I noticed that the weather and the moisture and rain really destroys the petals. They are all spotty, so this was not usable at all. But these are also perennials, and I'm gonna try to dig some of them up and overwinter in a frost-free location. But it's very cool location, so let's see if I will be able to have more mature plants for the next season. And on spots where I ripped out other plants or some that didn't grow, I already planted earlier Eryngium planum, this blue glitter type, and yeah, they are looking really good. Obviously I need to do still a lot of weeding, so I am transitioning this bed from the limonium to perennials, like in one side Eryngium, and in this side I have planted in place of those old limonium plants. I have echinops. Yes, these are echinops that I just planted a few days ago out. So I have a lot of echinops. The one, it's a white one, I think the name is Arctic something, and the other one is blue. So and then to follow up this bed, I have another bed here that was also not covered and a lot of weed pressure, but it was still full of flowers. The majority I had were Amobium, and I really like this type of Amobium. I'm happy to have some gone to seed. It's so easy to raise and so prolific. I also have a Nigella growing, and yeah, this gonna look at this perfect seed pods. So these seeds I'm gonna save again, and then some of the Amaranthus, Dreadlock type, and these always amaze me how beautiful they can be. Volunteer tomato, and the rest of the bed I direct seeded Lunaria. Yes, I direct seeded Lunaria annual, and they completely disappeared. I had also some Catamus tinctorius in there. Oh no, here are the Lunaria. So these are biennials and they didn't disappear, but my mistake was I planted them very early in the spring, and they didn't like the heat at all, and they kind of disappeared when it was very hot, and it got very weedy. And I think because they are biennials, it's okay to plant them later in the season, like for fall, and have them flowering next year. So, and with these two beds, because this first one with the Eryngium, the technique was I put down cardboard directly on the grass, and I built my soil above that from mole hills and well-rotted manure. And I think some of the direct seeded plants, they took off a little bit later because the cardboard needed to decompose better so that those roots could go actually into the existing soil below. And yeah, definitely have to prepare beds earlier than in the spring. And on this patch where the Amaranthus is growing, I just used the soil, or the top of the weedy soil that remained after digging the holes, the big holes for the peonies, and I just turned them and I planted directly into that. And of course I try to keep it weed free, but yeah, the weeds are still present. And then another bed, the next bed, it was full with larkspur, and it's really time to rip this out. And this was exactly almost like the same technique. um, we dug up we dug a big hole for our outside toilet, and so that all that soil went on top of the existing grass to make this bed, and also added some manure. But essentially the soil was really really poor. But that was fine with the larkspur. So yeah, and larkspur I direct seeded as well. So this area is in the continuation of that bed. I already ripped everything out that was here before. You can still see some of the bunny tail grasses. I left them if they would recover or have another flush, but they didn't. Had another flush, and I just planted this like 3 weeks ago, but already the weeds are coming up. But what I have here, this is gonna be also transitioning from annuals into perennials, and they are mostly this kind of family. Like one is like the Ratibida, the Mexican hat, and also a lot of Rudbeckia. Yeah, I have here Rudbeckia hirta. Yeah, and I do have a tray of Rudbeckia Green Wizard, so that's gonna be going into the place of that mess of the larkspur. So yeah, but I can see the Rudbeckia is doing really fine now. They really recovered. I hope they don't try to flower yet. So these are the two overwinter. These are cool flowers. And then where I had the Lagurus in between, I planted Limonium tataricum. Really need to weed this bed so that these little plants can grow better. So the Limonium tataricum is also perennial and is very sought after, and I'm really excited about that. I will have two kind of them. I have another tray that they are really still young, and that is Limonium tataricum hungaricum, and that's more mauve purplish color, and this one gonna be white. And on the edges of the beds I am starting roses that are climbers. I have 2 roses here, and hopefully I can get some kind of structure for this, and that's why this walkway between the 2 beds hopefully will be so much more romantic. Okay, and another bed of the annual limonium, and this was also quiz pastels, blue colors, and purple pinkish colors, and the rest it was the white. They were, yeah, I left them in because I thought for the autumn they're gonna have another flush, and they do have some extra flush, but they are not that strong and happy than it was during the summer. This was incredible. From these 2 strips of field of limonium, I have like really hundreds and hundreds of stems. I did not sell them all fresh. I still have them dried, but people are still loving the dried flowers, so that's really good. Okay, this long strip goes all the way without the path in between, and this is the peony field that half of them it's really was weeded and fertilized really nicely, and this other half really needs some care. And what I found interesting is that I can really see how much difference it makes to fertilize and weed them, because this half is still has some more greens and just more healthy growth, and this other half is most of them are already dried leaves. So these peonies were planted in November, December last year, and I was a little bit anxious about them planting them so late, but I had really big roots with 3-5 eyes on them, and the December was pretty mild, so and they love the cold, so they thrive in the cold, and all of them, every single one came up. So I'm really happy with that, and this year I'm gonna have another row of peonies planted for sure. Another little technique about how I make these beds with the tarp. I didn't I didn't dig up the bed. I didn't turn the soil. I did nothing. I just laid down the tarp, and after a month, most of the weeds were already brown down under it, and I just made the holes, and I used the bulb planter to dig out this this little section from the of the soil, and when I planted my seedlings, I used a better mix with composted manure, and that's how they got in. They got in the better soil. But yeah, they did fine with this way. It was still a lot of work to dig out all these little holes with the bulb planter. Okay, and then here I have another long strip, 20-meter long strip of flowers. Yeah, they are past their prime, definitely. Starting with some of the Ageratum red flint, and I had them interplanted with Pennisetum, I guess it's called, but they are not so vigorous. I was not able to use these in cut flowers. And then I have here, this is sorghum, and I already cut most of this. I'm just waiting to see how they go with the seeds. Actually, the sorghum is also good for consumptions, also for the animals. So yeah, I am like happy to be able to cut everything and use them up, and I don't really have fields of flowers and beautiful pictures with blooming flowers because I always cut everything. And in this section I planted some of the everlasting mixture, and there were nice straw flowers and more amobium, and this steranthemum, which is kind of delicate little flower but really papery, and really adds this little whimsy to projects with dried flowers. And in the back of this portion I have sunflowers. I mean, I had sunflowers, they were cut. And then I have my dahlias, and dahlias did not do great for me this year. They already have a little bit of frostbite on them, and as I turned out, this is like a tarnish bug damage. So this is a pity because so many flowers, they just don't open nicely because of that bug bite. And that happened the same with the sunflowers. A lot of stems were not usable because they would open only half. And then I have had more Celosia salvei mix, and this patch is Panicum virgatum fontaine, and this was such a money maker. Like, this little patch give so many stems, and I was able to even sell to florists. So that's definitely going in for next year. I already collected a tons of seeds, and I think before I rip this out, I will just save all the seeds that in. And I only had like one succession of them, but next year I will have multiple succession, because of course they, after a while, they get tired of producing, and we had also drought and really wet periods, so they don't like the drought, definitely. So this would be the rest of the dahlias, and dahlias, you see, they didn't grow well for me this year. The previous year I had like a shrub of dahlia, and I was able to cut from them every week, and now I only have like this really weak plant, and yeah, some of them do better, like this is Sylvia, I think, and yeah, it could be better. I was a little bit anxious because I promised dahlias for a wedding, and I could still deliver flowers for that wedding, but I had to ask also a friend to be able to cut more dahlias. And I also, what can I say? I ordered from a local website, and I have a suspicion that they did not send exactly the colors what I wanted. And I really need to make a selection of them now when I will be digging them up, and I will have one put aside for just landscaping, and those other ones which I noticed that are super good for cutting with the long stems and abundant flowering, and also the heads not flopping or not facing downwards. And I will keep some big heads for cutting, but not all. So, and the rest of the bed is not finished yet, but that's it. And here, this is the last one. You can see my technique. Because of not tilling, I was just covering them with this tarp, and that kills off the weeds, but not, of course, not completely. They come back very quickly, but it gives enough time for the plants to grow. And because I have no other beds to plant in, I started to plant my asters here, and some of my irises. So this portion is like a little nursery for them. I will let them grow on for a while, then dig them up and use in the landscape. Okay, this looks more professional with the netting, and I must say I'm really pleased of how netting works. This is where I tried it. This area was a zinnia patch, but we had like a really one night of little bit of frost, and they were wiped out. They weren't destroyed in other part of the garden where other plants between them kind of protected them, but here we are exactly in front of this forest, and I think the cold like it's coming down here exactly, and they are just really vulnerable. And there are some more dahlias and same issues. I don't know what to do with this tarnish bugs. Probably next year, to try to diminish the population, I will just get a bucket of soapy water and have them fall into that. Yeah. So, and what is amazing about these dahlias is that they got also the frostbite, but they're still flowered. So they're still producing flowers and recovering. And I still hope that we will have like 2 more weeks of flowers, 2-3 weeks of flowers. And then here I have my second patch of the discus, and I'm really loving this plant. I was thinking the heads, the flower heads, will be a little bit bigger. They are not that huge, and yeah, they don't look that healthy than the first batch, but I think there are still some usable stems. What I found intriguing that how the seeds are produced. I cannot, yeah. It's practically the seeds are produced after it flowers, but it's cannot see here, but it's on the end of this little uh, little legs, and then it closes up and produces the seeds inside. Okay, and another little patch of celosia, but these are already gone. Then I have more sorghum, and look, there are the bugs. Ow! Yeah, they are the tarnish bugs. So, and this sorghum should be like really shiny black, with shiny black seeds inside. And then here I had the setaria, this bordeaux color, this brownish color. They are cut, all is cut already, and this is just the small ones that I was left with. And the last little patch of sunflowers, not looking really cheerful at the moment. And again, this is the tarnish bug damage. Yeah. So this would be my little field, and people are amazed about that they don't find any flowers, or where are the flowers, and I kind of see that I lived up to this idea that a good flower farmer would cut all its flowers, and you cannot see fields on a flowers on the field. So thank you for watching, and I hope I can come with some good and useful information in the following for the following season. I still have some project also in this time of year. I'm planting a lot of roses. I really want to make a rose garden. I'm planting more peonies, and also I have some walnut trees that I started from seeds, and I think I'm gonna make a video about those, how I plant trees from seeds that I grow myself. So thank you for being here, thank you for watching, and thank you for all your help. Bye.